Hey, I'm Sean.
And I'm Jackie.
And this is Rookie Roost.
In this video, we show you how we squared our walls and installed our top plate.
So we just measured the whole length of the trailer on the long side, and our designs called for it to be exactly 16 feet, and it's about 16 and a quarter. So we do notice that there are some gaps between the walls and in the midsection a little bit. So we're just going to unscrew, which we've already done, is unscrew the bottom plates on a couple of these sections and just bash them in to try to get these gaps tightened up. Bashy, bashy, bashy. That was easy. So that's nice and flush now. Maybe even a little too much. Right there. So the principle was we know that our previously installed bottom plate, because we're doing a double bottom plate, the previously installed one was nice and flush with the metal of the trailer, and it's exactly where we want it to be, which is exactly where we want the wall to be. And so I just bashed it over a little bit, and now it is perfect. So let's go over to the other corner. And it looks like I could bash it in a little bit this way. That's probably it. Okay, that's nice. So I'm gonna put one screw in here, because I know this corner of this wall is real nice. All right, so the next step we're gonna do is unscrew the other wall back there so that I can bash that end of the kitchen wall, which is this wall, that way to try to tighten everything up and get it flush at the front of the trailer over there. So I can't get the kitchen wall to sit flush with the front of the trailer, mostly because of this giant header we have in here. We have this header in here because of the storage area that we have underneath the kitchen. And as you can see right here, the plywood isn't perfect. So they have just a couple, looks like 3 layers of the ply in here, and then it spreads out and they wedge in some more pieces of the ply in there, because I guess the roll ran out or however it works in the manufacturing process. So it made the header overall thicker, and as you can see it kind of comes out past, that's not a great example there, but it does come out past, you can see it more in the corner here, and it's affecting this wall joining to this wall. So what we're gonna do to compensate, we have a little bit of space over here where the 2 walls on the long side meet. We're just gonna cut about a 1/4 inch out, which is what we need on the entire wall to make this exactly 16 feet. So I'm just gonna cut that out with the Sawzall at the bottom and at the top, and then we'll be able to bring the kitchen in, and the whole wall on this side should be the 16 feet that we want. All right. So, after bashing that wall into place, now that it had enough of a gap to be able to do it, the kitchen is sitting nice and flush with the front of the trailer. So, I just put a screw in here, there's a screw in that side, and I'm just going to attach a couple more screws, because the kitchen isn't going anywhere now. Okay, so we just squared up this wall. We had it flush with the trailer, so it's exactly where we wanted it positioned this way. So we wanted to make sure it wasn't off in either direction this way. So what we did is we used the 4-5-3 method, which is you measure up one side 4 feet and one side 3 feet at where you want your 90 degree to be, and then you take the point between those two, and we just use nails to make the points, and you want it to be exactly 5 feet, and that creates a 90 degree triangle right in that corner. You can do that anywhere to figure out anything for 90 degrees. You can do multiples of it as well. You could go up 5 meters, you could go up 5 feet, whatever you need to use. And so we did that, got it square, and now we just put in this piece of bracing to make sure it stays square while we manipulate the other walls around it. So we've attached the small sections of the long walls flush to the corners of this kitchen wall here. And then we measured across from the bottom, that was 91 inches, and we went up to make sure, just to confirm, we went up 9 feet on either side and measured 91 inches across there too, just to make sure that these two sections of wall are parallel to each other. So we have basically this part of the trailer done. The corners and entire wall is good to go. And now we're going to work off that, get these short walls to where exactly they need to be, and then we can work our way to the end of the trailer. So, what we're doing now is we secured the bathroom end, which is this end wall here, right in this corner where we want it, which is now just over 16 feet away from the corner side, or from the kitchen side. So the trailer is, per design, 16 feet now long, or pretty close. And so what we're going to try to do now is get this long wall and make sure that it is sitting straight end to end. And so what we've done is we've attached this string line, and we put 2 nails in, both of the same height on either side, and then the string is sitting 1 inch away from the studs here. And it's sitting 1 inch away from this stud and 1 inch away from the other stud. And so what we were doing is just going along to each stud. They won't all be perfect, but if they're all approximately 1 inch, then we know we've got our wall straight, which we happen to have pretty accurately. The only part where it wasn't good is right around here with the wheel well. It just needs to come out a little bit, which we suspected anyway, as the fender flashing here should be pretty close to flush, and it has a bit of a space here. So we're just going to bash this out a little bit. But other than that, the whole thing's looking pretty good. With the walls all sitting where we wanted them, we began screwing them together. Our corners are done.
Beautiful. And scene.
We decided to install a temporary top plate just to hold things where we wanted them until we had the real top plates ready. Here's a look of how the corners of the top plates fit together. So what we're doing now is we're going to put on our top plates. And the top plates need a wedge cut out of them in order to fit all the way to the corners. And the trick will be cutting that out. So we're going to need to fit an entire 2x4 in here, which is going to be a 3.5 inch width right here. So I've measured 3.5 inch there, and I've measured 3.5 inch over here. And then I need to cut down a little bit. So I'm going to be cutting down 1/8 off of that. And on the other side here, I'm going to be cutting down 3/4 all along there. So we'll be cutting out all this chunk, and so the top plate will sit like this, with that chunk missing out of it, which will correspond to the top corner over there. We decided to try to use a reciprocating saw to cut out the wedge, but that didn't work out so well. It's not working very well, is it? It's dull.
Is it?
Yeah. There's probably a better way to do this.
I guess you have to go from sideways.
Kind of.
Maybe top down.
I didn't even use a clamp last time. A handsaw and a chisel became the preferred method, but it was exhausting.
Boom. Except for all that crap.
Beautiful.
Is it even?
Oh, hell no.
Oh my
I need
god.
to get this chunk out. So, this is the piece that we needed to get over. And, as you can see, it is over with a bit of a gap. We'll shim that in probably a little bit. A screw will go in here to connect this all together. And a screw will go in here to finish it all off. And then it goes all the way down. Could have been better, but we had to hack at it quite a bit to get it to be this way. Finally, it was time to fasten down these top plates. We used a combination of clamps and brute force to get it to sit nicely. The boards were a little twisted, and nothing is perfect in the real world, but it did end up being very close to the dimensions of the model. The end top plates needed some angle cuts, so we checked the model to make sure we were on track. We need to cut this at an angle of 10.4 degrees at both ends, so they're both like that. So what we need to do is just lob one off to start, and then measure it out for our top plate, and then cut it at the other one. We set the miter saw at the 10.4 degrees that we needed, and made the cuts. Make sure you have the board flipped around the right way before making that second cut. These pieces fit into place easily, and that was it for the top plate. And that's it for this video. See you next time at the Roost.
Bye!
Be sure to like and comment if you enjoyed the video. You can also click on the preview tiles to see some of our previous videos.
And subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also check us out at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.